Just making sure it worked okay because the computer's been... And the screen just popped up. Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. This is Dylan Lang. It's episode 669. Gotta catch 'em all. It's the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Go. This weekend is Pokemon Go Fest, but the actual anniversary was earlier this week. We also got the Women's Pro Baseball League finally has their names, a start date, and the ability to buy tickets now, and jerseys and hats and stuff. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. The Emmys got their nominations out this week. We got some people retiring. We've got a lot of anniversaries, a lot of deaths. Cheetah Girls coming back. Gorilla Grodd. SummerWeen is becoming a thing. I'll talk to you about why that is weird. Fortnite is listing a bunch of cool stuff. The ramifications of the success of Backrooms keeps continuing. We'll find out more about that as well. The Asylum is doing all kinds of crazy stuff again. Gummies, cast joining, production starts, production ends, trailers, including Godzilla Point Zero. We got our first look at that. That's some interesting good stuff. So we'll see how things go. Let's see how this worked out. I put this in the freezer for an hour. This is the America version of Gatorade mix. Yeah, definitely mango sort of flavor to it. That's all right. All right. So where to begin? Well, let's begin at the beginning. As they say, REM says, we begin at the beginning. 10 years ago this week, Pokemon Go officially started, and absolutely for a summer and a good portion of the fall, particularly the Halloween event popped up for the first time ever. Pokemon Go was the biggest thing in pop culture. Think back now, 10 years ago, 2016, we're in the middle of a presidential race where everybody was hopeful that Hillary Clinton would be able to beat the weirdo reality TV show star, but things were not looking too keen at that point, but we were being still hopeful. And we know what happened. This is right before everything went to shit. So July, I believe it was July 6th. I think we'll have an official date on here. Let's see if I can find the official date on here real quick. I didn't write down the date, though. Oh, well, I think it was like around August 6th or so. I didn't join until August 17th. Or no, it was July 6th. Didn't join until July 17th, really. So July 6th, I believe, July 6th was the first Pokemon Go stuff. It was started and betaed in Australia, and then it became a huge hit overseas. And then it came to America and became a massive hit. Everybody was downloading it. Everybody was playing it. Traffic would come to standstills when there would be a Pokemon that nobody had seen before being spotted in area. There's videos of this all happening. The early days of Pokemon Go, still pretty much the way it was now. The gym system was a little bit different, but you also had far fewer Pokemon than you have now. You had the original Gen 1s, and there's only like 80 some of them, something like that, and they weren't all being released at the same time. And a lot of them were specialty ones, like a Mewtwo and Mew and stuff like that. You had to do through special things. So you were just getting a lot of the same old stuff, the Pidgeys and the Weedles and stuff like that, and Eevees and Pikachus and the starters. So you were just, but it was fun at the time. People were getting out, walking around the parks. They were creating, raid groups. The gym system was you had 6 Pokemon in there. And much like you had to do this one, you had to face them 3 times, I think. But you got coins for every day you were in there, not just one big thing. Like right now, what happens is you get 50 coins once you get knocked out of the gym. Doesn't matter how many days you've been in there. Could be a day, could be a year, could be a month. On the old days, you would get coins every day, so people were definitely trying to keep their people in the gym. So they would put all their highly powerful ones. There we go. Sorry for the 10-second window. It was saying that I was not connected. So if you had a little bit of a pause there, that's the reason why. People were just going crazy for it. They would just put their stuff in the gym. You try to take the gym down, but they come right back and knock you. It was a lot harder than it is now. But you also got better benefits out of it then and now. But it was just a way to just get out about. Everybody was getting out about during that summer of 2016, and they were just having a grand old time. It was on the news. Reels and all kinds of stuff was being done about it, and it was just became. I mean, people you never would have expected doing Pokemon did Pokemon. So 2016 was 10 years ago. So my kids were 9 and 6, so they were just around the right time to start getting into it. So my wife was the first one to join because she'd seen all the people talking about it online and social media and pictures and stuff like that, and then seeing how it actually works and the mechanics and the fun stuff here, in particular in Reisterstown. We have a really big Pokemon Go faction over here. It's died down slightly since then, but we were one of the big ones for years till things started to thin out a little bit. We used to do raid rides. Like there was like a specific Pokemon that would be in the gyms that was raiding it and took over the gym. It would usually be for a whole day, or for a few hours. So we would just get to a caravan and we would just drive from gym to gym and then all work together to take it down and get the Pokemon that you could only get at gyms. And it took a lot of people to get it. So you needed to have this group to do it and stuff like that. And then when Mewtwo came out, it was the first ever invite-only raid you could do, and you had to do some certain things to get the invite. We got the invite, and so we had our community actually set down, and it was only one gym in the area that was doing it because they have these specialty gyms that only did those specialty raids, like for the Mewtwo's and stuff like that. We had a guy with a table and stuff like that, had everything organized, people's names and what level they were and stuff like that, so we could put them into the right groups so they could catch. And then we would say, okay, group 1, you go now, and then group 2, you wait 5 seconds, and then you go in, and then you wait 5 seconds, then you go in. So it was just like a crazy little thing. And then when you didn't get the shiny, the younger kids would freak out, or people would be, yeah, I got the shiny, yeah, I'm excited. So it was just a crazy thing. And then we had the first community day that year also, which was Pikachu. And I remember doing that with we went over to Columbia, where my at the time my sister-in-law and her 2 boys, are same age as my son, were getting into it also. So we meet up at this lake area in Columbia, and we just walked around the lake, and we did the first ever Pikachu first ever community day ever, which was Pikachu, which was really cool. So it was great. I think I joined July 17th, and my wife joined a few days earlier, like the 14th, something like that, and then the kids joined soon after that as well. And we made a big family thing. It was great. And then we had the Halloween event, which released more of the scarier ghost types and just the Halloween stuff, which just made it so great. And then it was just it just kept spiraling. And there's like a new generation's coming out next year, so we got new Pokemon to catch. And then eventually it spiraled out of control, and now we've got hundreds of Pokemon out and about. But we've got a system now, community days every month. Pokemon Go tours and fests. We have 2 big weekend-long events. Today was the Pokemon Go Fest to celebrate the 10th anniversary, and Mewtwo is back in the gyms, but that's the mega versions of them. And that's the thing, is we've been following the game, so we've had Megas and Dynamaxes and Shadow, and so the game has progressed and changed much like the video game itself has. So I enjoy it. It's still one of my favorite games. It's still something that my wife and I do together. Some people have date nights. They go to restaurants or movies or concerts or whatever. We do Pokemon Go. So we spent a good 4 or 5 hours, just the two of us, walking around our robust area. See, yappers. See, still a thing. But yeah, so we have new backgrounds and stuff like that also, which weren't there before, and just crazy events. And I have, just hatching 3 eggs now. Gumi, Tropius, which is funny, and XU. I have 9,986 Pokemon. I can't see it. It's too bright. 9,986 Pokemon. That's how many Pokemon I have right now. Yes, I have quite a lot. And they're all good, so I'll hold on to all of them. And we still have more to come tomorrow. Today was Mewtwo's, stuff like that. All right, so it was unstable again. Hopefully this won't be a consistent thing. So here's the Pokemon Go, 10 years. Still enjoying it. I'm not going to go into the Emmy nominations, but it's your typical stuff you've seen all the time. The Muppet Show was on Disney Plus, got some Emmy Award love, which was good. The actor who played Wonder Man in Wonder Man got some Emmy love as well. But your typical stuff gets all the nominations though. So nothing really spectacular out there. But still, they were announced. So the award season has officially begun slightly earlier than usual, but this is for TV, so that's interesting. Batman Cape Crusader Season 2, the new animated series on Amazon, is set to debut July 31st on Amazon. Justin Verlander is set to retire at the end of the year, one of the best pitchers in baseball, who lucked out and married a supermodel who's freaking gorgeous. I can't think of her name right now. Justin Verlander. He's not even in the top. That's interesting. There we go. Is Kate Upton. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So he got lucky there too. But he'll be retiring, so he'll be retiring to that gorgeousness. So he's the winner in everyone. Laika's Wildwood, which is their new animated film coming out this fall, is said to be 2 hours and 19 minutes long, making it one of the longest animated films of all time. Pretty interesting. The Cheetah Girls show, I think, that came out in the 90s or the early 2000s or whatever, will be getting a reboot with the next generation taking the lead, taught by the old generation. So you'll get a new generation of Cheetah Girls taught by the actresses who were in the old one. So that's pretty good. Ed Brubaker, a comic book writer, wrote a hard-boiled film noir comic called Criminal, which he owns the rights to. Amazon has bought the rights to make an adaptation of it, and haven't heard much about it. It's got Emilia Clarke and I forget who the other actor is. The other actor is a big actor also. I think Charlie Hunnam or something like that. So you got good TV actors to do it. So we knew they were cast, and then we didn't hear much about it, and they just released this week that it will come out sometime this year. So you'll be seeing Criminal on Amazon sometime this year. So with Spider Noir and Criminal back to back, you got some good noirish sort of stuff to see on Amazon, which is cool. And then, of course, but Batman Cape Crusader in there, and they're becoming the noir capital of streaming right now. Jimmy Tatro is set to play Gorilla Grodd in the Jimmy Olsen Daily Planet show that is in the process of being made by James Gunn. Glenn Powell and Michelle Randolph have made it official. They are in a relationship. Congratulations to them. We got our first trailer for Soulmate, which was a spinoff of Megan. Unfortunately, the people who made it didn't like it, so they relegated it to direct to digital, set to debut August 1st, but you get your first trailer for it. It's basically like the Megan Fox movie from a few years ago where like an AI sort of realistic looking robot falls in love with the male member of the household, and they have to defend it, their love, sort of an obsession, but with AI characters instead, and not demon possession. We got our first look at Earth's second moon from a Chinese satellite. There's been rumors that we have a second moon, and we do. We have a second moon. It's too small to be seen in the night sky, and it's not as big as our moon, and it's not even going to stick around. It just is basically in our orbit for a few years, and then it's not. So we just call it roughly a second moon, but we got our first pictures of what it looked like through a Chinese satellite. Minor earthquake hit Chicago, Sweet Home Chicago at 2.9. So earthquakes continue. Britney Spears biopic is in the works based on her memoir. So, I mean, after the success of Michael, why not, you know? We got our first look at Dune 3, the new Dune 3, actually our second look at it, a new version of the Dune 3 trailer, shows a little bit more about the story. We also get Jason Statham's new action film Mutiny, a trailer for that as well. Herbert West Reanimator reboot has started filming, and I think the cast is on here where... I know I have it on here somewhere. It's on the second page. Let's find out. Yeah, there it is. Joseph Meyer and Katie Cassidy are set to star in the reboot of Reanimator called Herbert West Reanimator, and that has started filming. Dunkin' Donuts debuts a Baskin-Robbins ice cream cake donut. This actually sounds pretty decent, actually. David Chase, producer of The Sopranos, is creating Project MK Ultra, a series about the CIA. He's also going to make a movie about the CIA as well. Don't know if it's going to be connected to the series or if it's a completely different thing. Don't know, but David Chase of Sopranos is now turning his eye from the mafia to the CIA. So we'll see what happens. So Funko Pops seemed to be disappearing for a while, but they are still lingering and they're still making inroads here. First up, the one of the big hits of the summer and into the late spring and early summer, Obsession, the $750,000 horror film, which has made over $350 million. And is coming to streaming this week, I believe, upcoming week on the 14th or so. And will actually be out on digital this week as on DVD and Blu-ray as well this week as well. So it might still be in movie theaters, but if you don't want to go to movie theaters, just want to wait till it came to your home theater. This week, I believe it'll be coming out on Tuesday, probably. But we do have Funko Pops of the main actress's character, so that's pretty cool. But what I find really cool is, because I'm a history major, they are finally doing historical Funko Pops, and they got a lot of them. Now, you can say what you want about him, but P.T. Barnum is going to be the first one they're going to do. Davy Crockett is another one they're doing. Dolly Madison is one they're doing as well. Annie Oakley, Mark Twain, and then the Charlie Chaplin one has two versions of it. One is a sepia-colored one, like from the old film stock, and the other is a black and white one. So that's kind of cool. So some historical Funko Pops coming our way here soon. Always got to love history. Got to keep it up. Deaths this week: Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Singer died this week. Jamil Merrill, a football player, died at the age of 36 years old this week. Phil Regan, a Major League Baseball player and the former manager of the Baltimore Orioles, passed away this week as well. Anniversaries. Pirates of the Caribbean debuted 23 years ago this week. My wife and I did not see it in the movie theaters because it came out in 2003, which was the year of our marriage. So we were busy doing marriage stuff. But on our honeymoon in October, this movie was in like the hotel. You can order movies, spicy movies if you want, but also regular movies. And we wanted to see it. So one of our evenings during our honeymoon, we spent watching Pirates of the Caribbean, which was really, really nice. The other one was Finding Nemo, also at the same time I think came out. I think it already came out but we got to see it for our honeymoon because we didn't see it at the movie theaters. American Pie debuted 27 years ago this week. And Lethal Weapon 2 debuted 37 years ago this week. The Descent debuted 21 years ago this week. The original Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans debuted 21 years ago this week as well. Historically, the Roswell crash incident debuted 79 years ago this week. I'm going to change things up here a little bit before I get on this because I'm really excited about this. It was announced this week. It was announced today, actually. Oh, no, it's on this page. That's right. This is the next one. There we go. It's on this one. The Women's Pro Baseball League. I've talked about this before. A person I work with at my job, she tried out for the Women's Professional Baseball League, was drafted by the San Francisco team. So she's been doing some practice. She's spent this last week working on practices and getting things working out like that and stuff like that. And she's been doing some other practices earlier. But we hadn't had team names. We haven't seen any logos. We don't have a date of when it's going to happen. That'll change today when a dump that happened this evening. So Women's Pro Baseball League is going to have 4 teams to begin with. They're all going to play all their games in one centralized location in Illinois for this year. If it does well enough this year, they might expand to their home cities and maybe expand to other cities as well to start creating an actual professional baseball league. Now, here's a real good kick before I get into the news about it. A really interesting thing about it. Next year, potentially, Major League Baseball, the show, whatever, the big game, whatever, might not be being played because the players' union's contract is up. And so they are negotiating with the owners right now for a new contract. And it's not going well because the owners are, again, banging the drum for a salary cap, which is baseball does not have one. So that's why you're getting Shohei Ohtani getting $700 million over 10 years to play baseball, stuff like that, because and why there's just a lot of unease with the teams. The big league teams like the LAs and the New York, stuff like that, they can spend as much money as they want to get all the best players and then make their way to the playoffs and the World Series, stuff like that. While the smaller teams that don't quite have the financial capabilities are left behind. That's one of the reasons why I love football, because everybody's equal. Teams that are struggling one year could come right back and win the whole goddamn thing next year, that sort of thing. Baseball, you get the same general, same teams in there all the time. Boring ass shit. And the only thing that's a saving grace is a longer season than the NFL. So a lot more stuff can happen during the season. So it's not quite complete dominance by these teams, but the majority of the best players. And if you have a good player on your team and their contract is coming up, they want a big contract and you're not willing to pay them like $50 million for 5 years, they'll go to a New York or they'll go to an LA where they'll make that money and make that team better. And your loss, one of your best players is now gone. So if that's going to be the case, this Women's Pro Baseball League could actually become the next big thing, much like what happened in World War II, as shown in the League of Their Own movie. If there's no actual regular baseball, big show baseball, you can actually see regular women's pro baseball, and we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. That's really cool. But I'm really excited about this because my coworker, I've known her for years. She actually trained my daughter, who's working with me there, this summer. So that's kind of cool. I'm very excited for her. So we learned that the season starts August 1st. So coming up really quickly. And we finally have the team names, and they're absolutely fantastic, including my coworker's team. I'll go with that one first because that's going to be my team. The San Francisco Fireballs. Firebells. Excuse me. The San Francisco Firebells. That was my fault. I apologize. It was Firebells. That's awesome. Their logo's fan-freaking-tastic, and I love it. The Los Angeles Queens, the New York Heights, and the Boston Hunters. Now, what's really cool about these, you think, why do they pick those names? Because they're all named after real women who accomplished big things. I'm going to explain it to you. No, it's not saved. It was a light. That's what it was. Okay. So the San Francisco Firebells were named after Lily Firebell Lil Hitchcock, who fearlessly jumped in to fight a blaze at just 15 years old and served as the only honorary female member of the Knickerbocker Engine Company. I gotta find. There it is. The New York Heights was named after Dorothy Height, the godmother of the civil rights movement and a prominent leader on women's equality, especially for Black women. The Los Angeles Queens were named after Lizzie Murphy, the Queen of the Diamond, who was the first woman to play against men in the majors. And the Boston Hunters were named after Harriet Hunt, one of the first female physicians and staunch advocate for women's health to be studied and addressed. So 4 teams named after 4 historic women. And I love the team that my coworker is going on. I love their name, the Firebells. They do have tickets are now available to buy. They do have their jerseys and hats with all their logos. I think available only on their website, not on Amazon. Like that makes sense because that way it's a little ways to make some extra money, just like Major League Baseball does. So it makes a lot of sense to me. So let's go Firebells. I'm excited, and I can't wait to get some Firebells uniforms. I'm going to get a hat and a shirt. I can't wait to talk to my coworker about it. She's going to be on vacation with her boyfriend this upcoming week, so won't be able to see it till like her last week of work before she heads out to play. And then she'll be back hopefully maybe in the fall. So Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey comes out next week on the 17th. Normally, I would probably take that day off and go see it on the first day it comes out, but with my daughter working with me at my job now, and she wants to work and make money, I have to work and make money, so I will not be seeing it that day. But my plan is to see it on the 18th, that Monday, or that Saturday. Actually, maybe not that Saturday because we got my that's next Saturday. My dad's we're gonna have dinner with my dad's stepmom. My stepmom's birthday is coming up in 2 weeks, but it's the weekend of her birthday, so maybe that Sunday, the 19th, I'll go see it. Excuse me, or I might wait till the weekend after that, the 24th, to see it because my wife and daughter are going on a girls' weekend with my wife's sisters, her mother, and my daughter's cousin, and they're all going to go out together. But that's coming out on the 17th. First reviews are saying how great it is, and we're starting to see the press junket of it. But I bring that up because next year, 2027, The Prestige, one of his Christopher Nolan's, one of his earlier films about magic with Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, I think Scarlett Johansson's in it as well, will be being re-released in the movie theaters in January of 2027 in celebration of his 20th anniversary. So I might actually have to go see that in the movie theaters in January. So I'll keep an eye on that. Jennifer Beals from Flashdance fame is going to be joining Scott Kahn and LL Cool J in the new NCIS New York show. So pretty decent cast about that. There is a novel called The Fisherman. An adaptation of it is in the works now. It is a horror novel. Liquid Death, the energy drink, is going to be debuting cinnamon roll iced tea, which is interesting. Witch on the Holy Night anime trailer is out this week as well. Sacha Baron Cohen's Ali G is coming back in a big way. Replacement for Alfred in the Batman comics has arrived in the Batman comics as a female butler who's related to Alfred. Matt Barr has been cast in Thunder Road, an AMC NASCAR show. First look at Abby Cornish as Anna Nicole Smith in Trust Me, I'm a Doctor, a biopic starring Cal Penn as Dr. Sandeep Kapoor, who is the crazy whack job doctor who told a lot of celebrity stuff like that, what they need to do, and end up killing them, not intentionally, as far as we know, but what he told them to use and stuff like that killed people, including Anna Nicole Smith. Sarah Michelle Gellar has finally finished filming her new horror rom-com Thud, which is such a great idea for a premise, where she plays the Grim Reaper, and she goes up against a guy whose death, who are both going after the soul of this one person or whatever, and they fall in love. So that's pretty cool. Bride of Frankenstein is going to be getting her own comic book. Some comics have been releasing the Universal Monsters in comic book form now with brand new stories. So Bride of Frankenstein is only going to get her chance now. A remake of 13 Going on 30, produced by Jennifer Garner, star of the original one, has started production for Netflix. Stars Emily Bader and Logan Lerman. New and Yui from Takashi Yamazuki is coming to America. As I told you, Funko Pops seem to be having a renaissance. Three's Company Funko Pops are going to be coming out here shortly as well. I think that's a really cool idea as well. Avatar, Aang, The Last Airbender trailer is set to debut 7/25. It is a animated sequel to the original animated series. It's going to be coming out here soon. Omar Sy, George Mackey, Vicky Cripps, and that's it. Join Ocean's 11 prequel along with Lauren Ridloff. So the cast is forming very quickly there. Nickit wins the fan vote for the next community day in August on Pokemon Go. He's a little fox guy. Looks really cool. Free Bird, BYRD, starring The Rock, about a motorcycle stuntman with dementia, is getting ready to get into production. The Wrong Girls trailer, Kristen Stewart and Alia Shawkat, is coming out. I think it's directed by Kristen Stewart's wife. So don't quote me on that, though. Fellow June 20th birthday boy John Goodman is joining the cast of Skeletons with Brie Larson. It's the J.J. Abrams produced horror film. Goodman and Brie Larson worked together previously on the King Kong movie that set up the MonsterVerse King Kong in the Godzilla MonsterVerse. A 4-hour extended version in 4K of Dances with Wolves will be coming to theaters. It's 30 minutes of new footage. Dances with Wolves was a really well-done movie by Kevin Costner. Deservedly won a bunch of Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director. And I think he might have won Best Actor. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not sure he did, though. And I think they won Best Adaptation also. So they won a lot of Oscars. And it's a good movie, and I really enjoyed it a lot. But now there's a 4-hour cut of it that's going to be in 4K, which will probably be released on 4K eventually. So I might wait for that. I don't think I can sit in a movie theater for 4 hours. I like Dance with Wolves, but I don't know if I can do that. It was already 3 hours long anyway. So, and I did see it in the movie theaters. So we'll see. So my alma mater, Albright College, I'm an alumnus, obviously, so I get alumni information and stuff like that. Found out due to some poor financial decisions and some other stuff as well, Albright is in danger of losing its accreditation as a college, that's just great. So hopefully they'll be able to fix their issues and we'll be able to handle it. No, I think the next story on the next page is connected to this last story on this page. So I'm going to combine them together here. So this is a movie I still want to see in movie theaters. It will be coming out on digital this week as well. And no idea when it's coming out on Blu-ray yet, but should be momentarily. Backrooms. Much like Obsession, 2 films that have gone above and beyond what they were supposed to. Backrooms has also made close to $350 million along with Obsession. So obviously, because Hollywood is so predictable, and they are, you all can see where this is going. When something hits big, Hollywood decides, holy shit, there's an untapped market for this. We need to find every single goddamn thing that is connected, like a creepypasta or whatever, and make every single goddamn thing into a movie. Not everything needs to be made into a movie. And here's 2 sort of flip side things, which I'll make a case for both of them in this case. First up, VHS, which is a series of found footage horror films, which have been doing really, really well. They are an anthology series of like 3 different found footage horror films. Has started a lot of, jumpstarted a lot of horror directors, and also just a way to just make crazy films. It's called VHS because these stories are on a VHS tape that someone sits and watches. So VHS is now taking a right turn into creepypasta due to Backroom success. And they're going to start tackling the SCP Foundation in a new series of films. Now, for those who don't know, look up what SCP is. I only know about this because my son and one of his friends was obsessed with it a couple years ago when it first came out. Basically, the SCP Foundation is, how can I put it this way? Spoiler alert for Cabin in the Woods. If you have not seen Cabin in the Woods, do not listen to this next bit. But the new version of VHS with the SCP Foundation is a lot like the ending of Cabin in the Woods, where all the cryptid supernatural creatures are released out into the world. Now, it's not similar like that. The SCP Foundation has a list of these creepy supernatural cryptid sort of creatures. The Rake, I believe, is an SCP, and there's other designations. Siren Head, I think, is an SCP as well, but don't quote me on that. So it's just weird, creepypasta, supernatural creatures, and there's a whole ton of them. And my kids know, not my kid and my son and his friend, they talked a lot about specific ones, and there's actually was for a while there on Fortnite and other gaming systems as well, SCP Foundation's first person shooter horror video game sort of stuff going on. So SCP Foundation has a lot of characters you can work with, supernatural cryptid sort of stuff, and VHS is the perfect venue for it. So the success of Backrooms is basically leading the people who do VHS is like, we do these horror things all the time. We need to do something different. Let's do something different. Now, this is going to be kind of interesting. The minute that Backrooms looked like it was going to get huge, someone came up with ideas like, we need to make a movie based on one of the levels of the Backrooms that is not mentioned in the new lore, but in the original YouTube stories. This is actually, I believe, a level in the Backrooms, but the filmmaker is going to not connect it to the Backrooms. It is not a sequel to the Backrooms movie, but it kind of is, because we're looking at a different level of the Backrooms, and that movie is called Pools. And believe it or not, because it is a horror film that's easy to make, they just started making it with the success of the Backrooms. It will be out in movie theaters in December. On Christmas Day, it's going to be joining Werewolf for 2 horror films released on Christmas Day. Go figure. Pools is basically the Backrooms, but instead of it being yellow walls and endless tunnels, it's endless levels of swimming pools with creepy minimalist sort of designs and stuff like that. And it's all swimming pools, and there are creatures and stuff like that. So could be interesting if done properly, but it is going to be probably looked at as a sequel to Backrooms. The people who know, if you know, you know. But this Backrooms movie that's out now is establishing its own lore, and it's not really doing the lore of the YouTube show as of yet. So we'll see if there is going to be some sort of connection between the two, because it technically is a part of the Backrooms, but this movie really is not. So we'll see. Anniversaries. Species debuted 31 years ago this week. Funny thing about that, the sequel to that filmed in Baltimore, and I was asked to be an extra in it for an overnight shoot, but I could not do it. Spider-Man Homecoming, the first Tom Holland solo Spider-Man movie, debuted 9 years ago this week with the great Michael Keaton as the villain. First Night, a modern retelling of the Arthurian story with Sean Connery as King Arthur, Richard Gere as Sir Lancelot, and I forget the actress who played Guinevere. That debuted 31 years ago this week. Deaths this week. Jim Walden, a college football coach, passed away this week. And Louise Lasser, Mary Hartman actress, passed away as well. Beluga whale spits water on a man who lit a cigarette right by his tank. He wasn't supposed to. The beluga whale did not want to see it, so he shot water at it, so the guy, cigarette got taken out. Novel Deadlock is set to get an adaptation, but they're changing the name to The Gatekeeper. I'll tell that story in a little bit. Jude Law is set to play a getaway driver in an untitled film. Obsession is on physical media on the 14th of July. I already talked about that. First look at the Netflix show Crew Girl, which is about a woman in college who joins the crew team, which is rowing. So we'll see that. The luscious, lovely, the same age as me, Kate Beckinsale, has replaced Mila Jovovich in the Romero-inspired zombie film. Kate will be mentioned again a little later. And be in my dreams. What? Anyway. Rain Spencer and Ariana Greenblatt are set to star in Little Five for Anne Hathaway's production company. The Asylum, which is a great B-movie filmmakers, are the ones who made Sharknado, and we became friends with a lot of the creators of The Asylum, producers and creators of it, when we were doing our Snark Alec Sci-Fi Saturday movie tweets. A lot of them joined our tweets, and we became friends and then did them on our various shows, stuff like that. In fact, on this show, Dylan knows, many, many years ago, I interviewed the director of one of the shark movies that Asylum does, which was kind of cool during our Shark Week. But they will be doing, because they also love to do this also, when a big blockbuster Hollywood movie's coming out, they do their version of it. And of course, Sometimes they like to change the names of it. Like when Pacific Rim came out, they did Atlantic Shelf. It's the exact same story, except instead of being Japan, took place in like New York City. But it's the same premise, basically. Robots took on kaiju and stuff like that. But sometimes they do their version of a specific thing. And in this case, the Asylum's The Odyssey will be coming out here soon. Saw a trailer for it. It's basically doing what Chris Nolan did, but without the big stars in it. Pringles flavored hot dog rolls come in a Pringles tube. You only get 3 of them, and then you get a pack of small Pringles in it as well. They have in 3 flavors: honey mustard, sour cream, and onion and barbecue. That's an interesting idea. Starbucks is getting into the orange cream craziness. They have a bunch of orange cream releases coming up here soon. I love Danny Elfman. I might think about this a little bit. Danny Elfman, who was a great musician in Oingo Boingo, but then really hit his stride when Tim Burton had him do the score for Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and soon he did the score for almost every movie that Tim Burton has directed. But then he's also gone on and done other soundtrack work for other movies like The Frighteners and Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi version, and Summersby, and a whole bunch of others, Men in Black, stuff like that. So he's done a whole lot of musical scores. He goes on tour around the country and I guess plays music that he does. I don't think it's Oingo Boingo. I think it's his movie music. He also wrote the songs and sang the Jack Skellington Park in Nightmare Before Christmas. He will be coming to Silver Spring, Maryland at the Tillmore on September 14th in concert. So that's kind of neat that he'll be local around here. So Fortnite's getting into the crazy collab stuff. Next week will be their summer event. And they're doing a very interesting summer event this year. It's going to be a Batman summer event with release of a bunch of new skins, including Batman in a bathing suit, which is fucking awesome. I can't wait to get that. And then, of course, gorgeous bikini-clad, sexy beach versions of Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. Coming out July 16th, I believe. I will be buying all of them. I can tell you that right now. And the Samurai Jack skin is in there. I'm thinking about buying that as well. We got some other Fortnite stuff I'll talk to you about in a little bit as well. That is going to also make me want to buy them as well. Alien Earth Season 2 has started filming. So we'll be getting that really soon. Korean alien film Hope. We got our first trailer for that. Julia Garner is set to top line Guilty Creatures, a Apple TV show based on a book. Craig Gillespie is directing it. He directed the Supergirl movie, which is still phenomenal, by the way. Ignore the haters. Go see it. Colin Woodell, KJ Apa, Diane Guerrero are set to star in Myron Belita series, a series called Myron Belita, based on a Harlan Coben book. The Devil's Mouth with Catherine Newton is set to hit Prime 7/29. So something interesting is going on lately, and I've been noticing it trend a little bit more. And we always make the joke that as soon as July 4th is over with, you start getting Halloween stuff in stores. That is actually a thing. Halloween stuff has started appearing in the Walmarts and Target, stuff like that, along with back to school stuff. Those are the two next big holiday stuff. Yes, back to school stuff, even though school just ended basically about a month ago, they're doing the back to school stuff as well. But you know how that goes. But I've been hearing more and more talk about SummerWeen, which is for fans of Halloween like myself, celebrating Halloween during the summer. So as soon as 4th of July, recently saw a lot of reels recently of people who are just like, here I am on 4th of July, and they're dressed in the red, white, and blue, watching fireworks, having a barbecue. And then July 5th, it's all Halloween stuff. I think that's great. I think that's funny. And apparently the stores seem to think it's funny too, because they're releasing the Halloween stuff even earlier, or at least mentioning it. So first up, Bloom Pear Scare energy drink will be hitting this fall. So I might have to try that just because it is a Halloween one. It's got a ghost on the can as well, so that's pretty cool. But here's the cool thing. Last year, I discovered that Old Spice, my deodorant, they also do body wash and other stuff, but I use it for deodorant, had holiday deodorant. And I was looking on it. They had a great one that's for pine trees for Christmas. Got that for my son. It smells really, really good, actually. And then I wanted to try the pumpkin spice version, which is kind of interesting. It's got a definite pumpkin spice smell to it, but it's a deodorant. Apparently successful because they're releasing 2 new ones this upcoming Halloween, or this upcoming fall. And they're bringing back the Pumpkin King, which is this one that is the pumpkin spice one. They are Franken Stud, which has scents of pistachio and vanilla. And the one that I'm going to try, Apple Crumble, which is a apple cider scented deodorant. I'm actually looking forward to that. I cannot wait to try those. Finally, this is a fun little story for this page. For 7 years, officials in the Czech Republic have been trying to get a dam built to restart a wetland. Because government is not efficient, it was taking forever to get the proper permits and stuff like that set up. Then one morning, someone goes down to just sort of take a look at the river and realize it is dammed finally. But this time by beavers. Beavers in the river were building a dam where they were going to build this dam to create this wetland. And they don't need to anymore because now this beaver's dam is taken over as the main wall between the wetland and the regular river. I think that's a great storyline. I think that's awesome. Anniversaries, Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump debuted 32 years ago this week. Ant-Man the Wasp debuted 8 years ago this week. Highly underrated Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I love it. Scary Movie debuted 26 years ago this week. Meh. Death's Al Holland, a Phillies player, passed away this week as well. And Lauren Bennett, singer on OMFAOS, their party rock anthem. She died at the age of 37. Party rock is in the house tonight. You. So she sang part of that. A semi-truck drops 40,000 pounds of Frank's hot sauce across a highway during a heat wave. So not only did you have a heat wave, but you had the steaming hot sauce coming off of this highway as well. Space debris has been landing on Australian beaches, though some people claim it's aliens from outer space. That perfectly almost cylindrical items have been landing on the beaches in Australia. Girl Scout cookie Krispy Kreme collaborations. You've got coconut caramel, lemon ups, and thin mint flavored Krispy Kreme donuts coming your way soon. White, a film with Kate Beckinsale and Catherine McNamara, is in the works. Sheep Detectives is #1 on streaming, and that is a brilliant movie. And if you have not watched it on Amazon Prime, you should. Amazon Prime also has dropped Project Hail Mary for free as well. So you can do that and Sheep Detectives on Amazon Prime right now if you are a Prime member. Sonia Mena has been cast in the new Paranormal Activity movie. We got our first teaser for The Greatest, a new Prime series about Cassius Clay, set to debut November 4th. For those who don't know, Cassius Clay became the all-time greatest, the greatest Muhammad Ali. The Monument Myths, another creepypasta that I was talking about before, earlier with the SCUs and the SS, you know what I'm talking about, and the pools. The Monument Myths is going to be getting a series in the works at Apple TV. So that's pretty cool. New G.I. Joe live action movie screenplay has been written. It is said to be set in Springfield, which, if you've read the comics and watched the cartoon, would know Springfield is a town that Cobra has taken over and infiltrated and turned it into just a regular sort of neighborhood for Cobra officers so they can live a life. This is interesting. Tomi Adeyemi has issues with the adaptation of her first novel, Children of Blood and Bone. Set to debut, the adaptation of it set to debut January 1st, but I think they're starting to get some takes on it, and she was not a fan of the adaptation of her book. Tried to get it taken out, but did not have the capabilities to do it. So we'll see what happens. Godzilla Point Zero teaser trailer debuted this week. It was a teaser. She just got a quick glance at it. 2 years later, after Point One, and they're talking about the nuclear bombs and stuff like that. And the main character from the first one is back, and he's screaming something, and then he's beating up the doctor, also from the first one. And then we see a bomb dropping, like an actual bomb dropping out of an airplane. And then we see the shot that is in all the Point movies. Last time it was Godzilla in the water chasing a boat. The teaser trailer ends with a jacked Godzilla popping out of the water going after an airplane. So kind of interesting there. So that was good. American Horror Story Season 13 is set to debut September 21st or 24th, excuse me. And we got our first look at that. Ariana Grande, who was supposed to be in it, has dropped out of it. So or her character was written out of it. The Whisper Man, the Robert De Niro horror sort of film with Adam Scott, is set to debut on August 28th on Netflix. We got our first poster for that. The Wait trailer, which is Ethan Hawke with Russell Crowe, looks pretty good. Can't wait to see that. Why Did I Get Married Again? The sequel to Why Did I Get Married trailer is set to debut September 9th. The trailer came out already, but the movie set to debut September 9th on Netflix. The Sun Never Sets. I think it's one of the Fanning girls doing this as well. We got our first trailer for that set to debut on September 4th. Samurai Jack, I said, is in Fortnite and looks decent. The Fox trailer is an Australian dark comedy. We get a look at it as a bizarre-looking little film, but what do you expect from that? A lot of deaths this week. Daryl Jackson, a Major League Baseball player, passed away this week. Gail Clark, an NFL player, passed away this week. Ben Pupolo, a soccer player, died this week. And Wally Funk, the oldest woman to go into outer space, passed away this week as well. Anniversaries, Seinfeld debuted 37 years ago this week. And that same day, or same week, I should say, Weekend at Bernie's debuted in movie theaters 37 years ago this week. Maxine with Mia Goth debuted 2 years ago this week. Midsummer with Florence Pugh debuted 7 years ago this week. And The Bikini was released in 80 years ago. So the Bikini's only 80 years old. Didn't know that. And License to Drive, one of the Corey's movies, set to debut 38 years ago this week. Sorry, I always yawn here. It is now officially Sunday, July 12th. I drank a lot of shit today, so I'm all liquid inside. Indonesian president gives his beloved cat bodyguards and an official vehicle. I think that's really cool. Lost remains of a Viking slaying English king was discovered in the parking lot, in a parking lot, just as England was set to take on Norway in the World Cup today. What else was there? That was historical. Baby Fox, that looks like a member of Insane Clown Posse, the way the colors look on his face, has officially been named a honorable juggalo. A man arrested for cutting off his own penis and using it to start a fire in his neighbor's garage. There's a lot to unpack there, but we're not even going to talk about that right now, but that's just looking insane. Jupiter Island, a golf series on Netflix, got a season pickup, so we'll see a golf series coming here soon. Mystery flavor Little Bits muffins will be coming out here soon a little bit. Dr. Pepper gummy soda pop bottles are coming out here soon. Tracy Ullman, Sam Spurrell, and Jerome Flynn have joined the cast of Alien Earth Season 2. Ronaldo Marcus is set to write and direct a biopic about Roberto Clemente. Paul Feig to direct a horror film called Detention for Blumhouse. 2 sea lions went after the crowds on a beach in San Diego. A stray cat that welcomed UCLA students for 8 years till he passed away. The students missed him and the facility loved him, so they raised money to make a bronze statue of the kitty who can continue to welcome in new people. The Los Angeles Rams will be giving away replicas of their Super Bowl ring to the first 60,000 people in their Week 6 game. That's a really cool giveaway. You will get your own replica Super Bowl ring that you can wear. It's a freaking fantastic idea. Wish more teams would do that. I would kill for a Ravens replica Super Bowl ring of either of theirs. Told you Funko Pop is back. They're doing a Funko Pop of Pale Rider, a Clint Eastwood movie. The Russo brothers are said to be rebooting Free Willy, which is completely different than the Avengers. Trailer for Master Plan with Stanley Tucci set to debut October 16th on Prime about a family that heists together. Jet Puff Marshmallow Bits is coming. Basically, they're small marshmallow bits that you can sprinkle on top of things to get a little extra marshmallow flavor. So now we're going to do, as I said, SummerWeen is a thing right now. Here's some Halloween news. Dan Trachtenberg, who directed 2 Predator movies, is doing an animated film based on a book called Freddy the 13th. It's set to drop on Friday, October 13th, 2028. Great time to do it. So they have a couple years to make the animated film, and they'll be releasing it on an actual Friday the 13th, even though it's called Freddy the 13th, in October of all time, in 2 years. Haunted Moon wallpaper tumbler. Haunted Mansion wallpaper tumbler at Starbucks. The Haunted Mansion is a popular ride at Disneyland and Disney World. They made a couple movies about it, and now we have a free tumbler from Dunkin' or from Starbucks. Excuse me. Kit Kat Witch Shapes will be joining the Count Shapes that came out last year in 2 packs. Snickers Pumpkin, Twix Skulls, and Skittles Semi-Sour Shriekles are coming out soon. More Halloween stuff coming your way. Anniversaries, Small Soldiers, Joe Dante's last film that he directed that I know of, debuted 28 years ago this week. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, debuted 22 years ago this week. Transformers, the Michael Bay monstrosity, debuted 19 years ago this week. Reign of Fire, a underrated dragon film with Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale, debuted 24 years ago this week. Predators, the third Predator movie out there, debuted 16 years ago this week. And Tron debuted 44 years ago this week. Deaths, Connor Murphy, looks maxing influencer, died at the age of 32 in an apparent drowning. Almost done. The Gentleman Season 2 trailer debuted September 3rd. Mobland Season 2 trailer debuted. That's set to debut on September 18th. All 5 Hunger Games will be re-released in the movie theaters in advance of the new film coming out in November. I believe they're all coming out in September, I think. Is the new last week I told you that the new Fast and Furious is starting production. That is not quite true. They are still in pre-production on it. It has not started filming yet. The Lord's Day casts Harry Lawton, Timothy Spall, Arsena Thomas, and Damson Idris in the Netflix series. The Washington Commanders, the football team, will be retiring one of their greatest football players that was on their team, John Riggins' number 44 number, during a Week 5 or Week 7 game against the Los Angeles Rams at home in Washington. Sound and Fury cast Daryl Masley, David Masley. Robert Pattinson, this is great. I have to say, sorry. Liam Neeson, Zachary Levi film The Fix is set to debut 9/11 in movie theaters. Apple butter coffee cake, coffee cream could be coming out soon. I'm not sure about fruit flavors for coffee, but it's fall. It's apple butter coffee cream cake creamer could be interesting. And banana bread coffee creamer is also coming out. And I think Snickerdoodles is returning to theaters as well. Gina Davis is set to play the Sacramento boarding house serial killer who killed people in her boarding house in a new HBO movie. Monsters, Inc. 3 is set to be in the works right now. Continuing the Halloween stuff, SummerWeen. Brock's Mellow Cream Spooky Graveyard Candy collection includes cotton candy gravestone, marshmallow ghost, candy corn flavored skull, and a green apple bat. That could be another good one to get in the season of Halloween. Not now, but soon. Some Fortnite collabs. Thundercats Fortnite is supposedly in the works right now. And John Barenthal's Punisher is set to team up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in a brand new day set for Fortnite, which would be really, really cool. We already have a Tom Holland Spider-Man and this Zendaya one, but we'll be getting a new Tom Holland one, and we'll also be getting supposedly the Punisher, which is really cool. Robert Pattinson, this is a great story, took his Batman costume into the bathroom during his audition to take selfies in it in case he didn't get hired. So he had to, when he was auditioning, he had to try on the bat suit. And he told everybody he had to go to the bathroom. So he was able to go to the bathroom in the Batman suit. And when he got into the bathroom, he took selfies of himself dressed up as Batman because he wanted to be close to his wife, I'm assuming. So you don't want to make her worry also. I think I lost the thread there. Yeah, that's all that stuff. Anniversaries. Journey to the Center of the Earth debuted 18 years ago this week. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen debuted 23 years ago this week. Hellboy Golden Army debuted 18 years ago this week. Bruno debuted 17 years ago this week. Sharknado debuted 13 years ago this week. Black Widow debuted 5 years ago this week. I already talked about that. The Washington Redskins Commanders debuted as a team 94 years ago this week. That's Barbara Ling, production designer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Michael passed away, so she was still working up to the time of her death. And that's it. I am done the yellow pages. Only got a page and a half now of white notes, so here we go. Arnold Schwarzenegger is reteaming with Michael Biehn to return in a new movie called The Kellys. They haven't worked together in 40 years since the original Terminator. Elle Fanning and Julianne Moore are set to star in Rebecca Miller's new film. Don't know what that is. She is married to Daniel Day-Lewis and is actually the granddaughter of Arthur Miller, the playwright. Jodie Whittaker is set to star in and produce The Country, a short film. The Seattle Seahawks football team has been sold for $9.6 billion. The How to Rob a Bank movie from David Leitch with Nicholas Hoult was set to debut on Labor Day. It has now been pushed to November 13th to go up against Johnny Depp's Ebenezer. I don't know if that's a good idea, but they're hoping for more money. They don't think they would make a lot of money at Labor Day, which I think is a terrible thing. I think they just leave it at Labor Day. They'll probably make money because there's nothing else going on. Parmesan garlic chicken noodle Campbell's chunky soups. A moose was spotted in Romania for the first time in centuries. Sebastian Vanacek, who directed the most recent Evil Dead Burn, would like to reboot The Mask, based on the comic book, which I probably need to put on my comic book list, from Dark Horse Comics, that Jim Carrey was in the movie that was hugely successful in 94. But this guy who is based in horror wants to make a more horror criminal activity sort of thing that's going on. It's a weird situation because, again, I'm losing the thread of things as well as it's getting late. New Trader Joe's is set to be opening in a building near my mom where I grew up, so that's pretty cool. Anthony Hopkins is to release a second classical album. Team Rocket could be in Fortnite as well. Night at the Museum is getting a reboot from Disney Plus. Sleepy Hollow Fright Fest, if you're a student filmmaker and want to get your film out there, apply for the Sleepy Hollow Fright Fest, set to come, I believe, October 10th, they said. So you can run your horror film and see the reaction to it, see what people get to it. And maybe, there might be movie producers there who might buy or distributors who might buy your stuff. Not saying there will be, but you never know unless you try. Morgan Spector is set to take over the role of Robert Langdon from The Da Vinci Code from Tom Hanks for a Netflix series based on Dan Brown's new Langdon book, The Secret of Secrets. And Rebecca Hall is also supposed to star in this as well. The fact that we're talking about now means that they're probably going to start working on it soon. More Halloween stuff. Actually, before we get there. Welch's Real PB&J frozen sandwiches, think Uncrustables but different, is releasing 3 new flavors, or their original flavors, I should say, since it hasn't come out yet, and it's still new. Mixed berry, strawberry, and grape are your first flavors there. Again, I'm assuming it's like Uncrustables. It's frozen peanut butter and jelly. You put it in a microwave or whatever, and you heat it up and you eat it. That was what I was getting from an interview with the woman. Snuggly Slashers at Spirit Halloween Store. Cute stuffed animal versions of Ghostface, Pennywise, and Art the Clown are now available at the Spirit Halloween shop. Deaths, Gregory Hawthorne, an NFL player, passed away this week. Chester Maros the oldest person in Maryland, died at the age of 110, was a welder at the shipyard. Lethal Weapon 4 debuted 28 years ago this week. All right, we'll do the... Despicable Me debuted 16 years ago this week. The Fox and the Hound debuted 45 years ago this week. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome debuted 41 years ago this week. Superman, the James Gunn version, debuted 1 year ago this week. Joanne Pettit, an actress in Casino Royale, and the group passed away this week as well. All right. Deaths, we also have Don Iwerks, Disney legend, designer new tech for their animated films. Randolph Mantooth, one of the greatest names of all time, an emergency actor and a heartthrob from the 70s, passed away at the age of 80. Peter Van Norden, Police Academy and Naked Gun actor, dead at the age of 75. Jaden Adams, just played in the World Cup for South Africa, passed away this week as well. Mountain Dew Trolley Mango Pineapple Punch will be your new Halloween flavor. I'm not happy about that. I wish they'd bring Voodoo back because it was so much better. But in this case, unlike last year where we only had the no sugar version, we get a sugar version of it, which is good. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix debuted 19 years ago this week. Alexander Hamilton was shot and killed in a duel with Aaron Burr this week, 222 years ago. In 1804. I think that's everything I had. Excuse me. Yep. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm not. Yeah, I went through all this. I honestly can't remember the point in my show where I'm just starting to not think about stuff. All right, not a lot left in here. I don't think I have a last story of the week. So, Joseph, I did talk about that one. The only other story I have, I'll talk about at the end. So, Anniversaries, Escape from New York debuted 45 years ago this week, and Universal Soldier debuted 34 years ago this week. The final story this week, Nightmare Before Christmas, Scrub Daddies. They are a scrubbing thing you use for dishes and stuff like that. They have a whole bunch of different sizes and colors and flavors, scents for each one. But they are doing a Nightmare Before Christmas collab for their next batch of Scrub Daddies. So that's kind of funny. I think that's it. I'm zoning out here a little bit. I've been on the run now for an hour and 18 minutes. So that's it for episode 669. Got to catch them all. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week, as I said, we'll have some movie stuff coming up, but nothing major. San Diego Comic-Con's in 2 weeks, so we'll have some interesting stuff about that in 2 weeks. But until then, we'll see how this upcoming week goes. To see what kind of stories we're going to get on Saturday. And hopefully it won't be anything too crazy. As I start wandering in my thoughts again, I'm going to shut down now because I'm tired. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week.